Recording in progress.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Chairperson.
Good morning, Chair.
Morning.
Good morning,
Honorable-
Chair.
Morning, Whip.
Good morning, all.
Morning, Honorable Gording.
Chair.
Morning, Honorable Marekwa. Good morning, National Commissioner.
Morning, Honorable Chairperson. Morning, Honorable members.
Morning, Edie. Edie. Good morning, Secretary. Okay. Babalwa, are we ready to start?
Good morning, Chair. Yes, we are ready to start. We do have a quorum.
Okay. Can we have an agenda flighted? There is an agenda, honorable members. Adoption of agenda, apologies. Opening remarks, adoption of minutes, matters arising, consideration and adoption of committee legacy report, discussion. Can I get a mover for the adoption of the agenda?
Thank you, Mom. Thank you.
Sheikh Imam moves. Honorable Peacock.
Thank you, Chair. I second.
Honorable Peacock seconding. Is there an alternative view? No. The agenda is adopted. Can we have apologies? Babalwa?
Chair, I received 4 apologies. The minister won't be able to attend a meeting due to the cabinet meeting, and the deputy minister will also not be able to attend a meeting as he is attending a SABS pass out in King Williamstown. Mr. Whitfield won't be able to attend a meeting, and Ms. Molekwa, she also won't be able to attend a meeting as she is attending the piece of the meeting of the Portfolio Committee on Home Affairs. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I take those apologies are accepted unless if there is an opposition. Nothing, it means they're accepted. We're now on item 3, opening remarks. Honorable members, the 6th parliamentary term was fast-paced and unprecedented in many respects. Early in the term, the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted and transformed the way Parliament conducts its business. We had to adapt to virtual and hybrid committee meetings and plenary sessions. As we began planning for the resumption of normal business, we lost our beloved National Assembly in a fire. The early hours of New Year's Day in 2022, we lost more than just the building. But we carried on and continued to discharge our duties as parliamentarians. The adaptation to virtual sessions arguably increased public accessibility to the business of Parliament and strengthened this crucial aspect of being a people's parliament. We regularly had online attendance of 80 persons in committee meetings and persons viewing our meetings on the various social media platforms. This would ordinarily not have been possible in person. The Portfolio Committee on Police oversees a very important portfolio affecting every citizen in South Africa. We are unique in that party politics are often pushed aside to ensure that we strengthen not only the South African Police Service, but the entire police oversight architecture. I was continuously humbled by this show of professionalism, courage, and decency. As a committee, honorable members, we have discharged our constitutional mandate under Section 55 of the Constitution dutifully to monitor the financial and non-financial performance of government departments and their entities to ensure that national objectives are met, process and pass legislation, and facilitate public participation in Parliament relating to issues of oversight and legislation. Over the past 5 years, we have adopted 20 budget reports and 20 budget review and recommendation reports. We have conducted 13 oversight visits to police stations, specialized units, forensic science laboratories, and training academics countrywide. We processed 3 important bills to strengthen the use of DNA as a crime detection tool, strengthen the global fight against terrorism and terrorist financing, and strengthen the IPID as a key civilian police oversight body. Throughout the term, we engaged with various stakeholders from civil society, academia, and organized labor. On behalf of the committee, I once more extend our appreciation to these individuals and organizations for enriching the committee's engagements with our departments. The committee had several achievements over the years. Amongst others are the reduction in the DNA analysis backlog and the increased efficacy of the DNA board. We also face several challenges on which progress has been made. This we hand over to the 7th Parliament to continue building on the solid foundation we built. During our term, honorable members, we lost 3 members and we mourned their passing. May their souls continue to rest in eternal peace and rise in glory. We felt the loss of the previous chairperson deeply. It was, however, a distinct honor and privilege to serve as chairperson of this committee over the past year. We had robust discussions, and although we could not always find consensus, we remained respectful of each other. This is a quality of this committee that will stay with me for many years to come. Allow me to thank our Minister and Deputy Minister of Police. I extend my heartfelt appreciation for their dedication to strengthen the departments in our portfolio. You always respected this committee and attended as best as they could. I further express my gratitude to the National Commissioner of the South African Police, the National Head of the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation, the Secretary of Police, the Executive Director of the Independent Police Investigative Directorate, the Board and Head of the Private Security Industry Regulatory Authority, the Chairperson and members of the DNA Board, the Office of the DPCI Judge, and all their teams. Without the support of our staff, we will not have come this far. I wish to thank the officials in the ministry for their support over the past 5 years, and the parliamentary liaison officers of all departments. You ensured an open channel of communication between Parliament and departments under our mandate. Special words of appreciation go to our own support staff, our parliamentary staff. Your dedication to Parliament and this committee was evident, and we appreciate your support over the past 5 years. We trust that Nicolette Abalwa Nobesutu and Mr. Lobby will continue to serve Parliament and the next committee with equal enthusiasm and dedication. Honorable members, today is the last meeting of the Portfolio Committee on Police of the 6th Democratic Parliament, and we have only one agenda item: to adopt our legacy report. This report will be handed over to the 7th Parliament to continue the oversight work that was started by us and the 5 previous parliaments. At the end of our agenda, before we close the meeting, I will allow heads of our departments to say 1 or 2 words as parting words. And I will also allow representatives of different political parties in this committee to say parting words, because this is our last meeting. Unless there is an emergency that will compel us to meet. Otherwise, this will be our last meeting, and we don't know what will happen in the 7th administration. Having said so, honorable members, let me wish you and the rest a fruitful discussion of our agenda items. Thanks very much. Let me proceed to the next item, which deals with minutes of the previous meeting. Can we have minutes? Minutes flighted, yes. Agenda, honorable members, that was the agenda. 1, election of the acting chairperson. 2, adoption of the agenda. 3, apologies and attendance. 4 opinion remarks by the acting chairperson. 5 consideration and adoption of minutes. Opening remarks by the Minister of Police. Presentation by the South African Police. Committee deliberations. Committee resolutions. The committee took the following resolutions.
Sorry, Chairperson.
Honorable Sheikh Imam.
Sorry, Chairperson. I think on 7, there is an error there. Is it not General Rabi? I see we've got Gabi there.
7, can you go back to item 7? Or go back again.
7.1, Chairperson. Yeah.
Yeah, 7.1. Yeah. The minister indicated that the Deputy National Commissioner will lead the delegation. Or General Rabi. Can you correct it there? Thanks very much. Let's go down. Committee deliberations. Committee resolutions. The SAPS should provide a report on the progress made with the investigation in relation to the judgment made by Judge Tulare, as the committee still have not received answers with regard to this matter. Honorable Terplan said that he has not yet received any response from SAPS regarding the 2 cases he had raised. SAPS should respond to the matters during the scheduled meeting of Wednesday, 27 March 2024. And we'll treat that as matters arising when maybe before we deal with the legacy report, we'll get such responses from the National Commissioner. And 10 closing remarks by the acting chairperson. The meeting adjourned at 11:52. Are there further amendments to the minutes? I don't see a hand. It means the minutes captures the spirit of what was discussed in our last meeting. Can I get a motion? Anyone to move for the adoption of the minutes?
Honorable Chair, Honorable Gomba moves for the adoption of the minutes with the amendments.
Honorable Gomba moves. Honorable Marekwa.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning. I would like to second the move. Thank you.
Honorable Marekwa seconding. Is there an alternative view? None. This is a true reflection of what transpired in our last meeting. Can we get to matters arising? Let's start with feedback on the resolutions. And if there is any other matter you want to raise, honorable members, you'll do so. But let's start with matters as captured in the minutes as resolutions. National Commissioner. National Commissioner.
Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair is saying that we should look at matters raised in resolutions.
Yeah, as part of the resolutions, maybe can you fly the resolutions again, Babalo? committee resolutions. Scroll up. There are committee resolutions. The committee took the following resolutions. National Commissioner 1, SAPS should provide a report on the progress made with the investigation in relation to judgment made by Judge Tulare. 2, Honorable Blanche said that he has not yet received any response from SAPS regarding the 2 cases he has raised in the previous meeting held on 6th March. And that is the case. 3, the SAPS should respond to the matters during the scheduled meeting of Wednesday, 27 March, which is today's meeting. Are you fine, National Commissioner?
Thanks, Honorable Chair. Yeah, I will be able to provide on the matter of the Judge Tulare, and then on the investigation of a matter that relates to, I think it's the transfers of members. General Nsia will respond on that, because I think that matter dealt with. Yeah, there might be other matters related, I think, around there that General Nsia and colleagues will respond on. Honorable Chairperson, on the matter of Judge Tulare, we did deal with the matter, the report finalized. We presented to the minister, but there were still outstanding matters between the SAPS and the IPID, which needs to be finalized between us and the minister. But that report will be able to supply it to the committee, Honorable Chair. It's quite a very lengthy report, but we will provide it after engagement with the minister. General Nsia, or maybe let me talk about the matter of also the matter of George. That is the matter where Honorable Gerike spoke about the certain security company there that was ill-treating people in town. On that matter, Honorable Chair, I did send a team to George, led by Major General Mukotedi. Immediately, they investigated the matter. A preliminary report has been provided, and a case has been opened, investigated, and placed before the public prosecutor in that region. And the case was declined to prosecute. However, the team is still looking for especially the people that were treated, because they have the side of the story of the police, of the security company, but they do not have any statements on the side of the story of the people that were involved. And it looks like it is something that that specific security company regularly does in that town. So we also informed SIRA that we jointly do an inspection, compliance inspection of that specific security company, whether they are within their work, what they are doing, because there is a overlap or a little bit overreach the way we look at it, because they seems to be operating public. Operating public is the space of the law enforcement agency of the country, not a private security institution. So those parts we are still going to, the team is still gonna finalize. It's not yet been finalized, but what is finalized is that they did interview the security company. They interviewed, I think, Mr. Honorable Gerike and the police of that locality. And the case took that turn, but however, there is a lot that we find to be happening in that area. Hence, we say we will still continue with our investigation and also get the side of the story of the people that were being harassed in that regard. General Ntsiye, on the matter of the transfer, can you comment on that?
General Ntsiye.
General Dimpane, do you have anybody from HR to respond on the matter?
Chairperson, good morning. It's General Rabi. I am struggling to raise my hand.
Continue, General Rabi.
Chairperson, sorry, just National Commissioner, the General Ntsiye tendered an apology yesterday. She's attending another meeting that was sent through to your office. So she's not in the meeting, sir.
Okay, General Dimpane and HR, can you respond on the transfer matter?
Good morning to the Honorable Chairperson, the National Commissioner, the Minister of Police, all protocol observed. National Commissioner, as indicated, General Ntsiye is not in the meeting. We note the matter of the transfer. However, we just want to indicate that all the transfers are dealt with in terms of the policy. However, if the written report is required, that particular written report will be submitted. I believe HR was finalizing that particular report. It could be submitted in writing in this regard, but all transfers as well as promotions are dealt with in terms of the existing policies in this particular regard. But a written report could be submitted to National Commission.
National Commissioner.
Thanks, Honorable Chair. I'm not sure if there is any other outstanding matter.
Okay. Let me check with honorable members. Is there any other matter arising from the minutes?
Chairperson, may I speak?
Yes, Honorable Terplanch.
Chairperson, yeah, there's the one remaining issue that is about the question that is also there about the case that got reported at the Robertson police station. And that was about, you know, there was sort of a week or what lapsed, and the person, you know, eventually couldn't get any police assistance. And the complaint was about, you know, the non-involvement of the police and not treating, that was a rape case. And, you know, back then there was still not satisfactory response from the police, and she even battled to open a case. And that is what that is about. That is still outstanding. Thank you, sir.
Okay, National Commissioner.
Yeah, thanks, Honorable Chair. On this one, I think maybe we will respond later during the meeting. Let me just find out if the relevant province will respond as we go along. Thanks, Honorable Chair.
Chairperson Sheikh Imam.
Honorable Sheikh Imam, followed by Honorable Peacock, then followed by Honorable Kherike.
Thank you, Chairperson. It was the issue of the murder of Ayub Mangli, which I've raised, and I haven't had a response yet. And what I've been advised that there's been many members of the community in El Dorado Park that have been murdered, allegedly by gangsters, including Ayub Mangli, which is over a year ago, and there's been absolutely no information on that, Chairperson. Thank you.
Let's raise matters that are arising from the last minutes so that we are not all over it. I think the National Commissioner has had that. Honorable Peacock.
Thank you, Chairperson. From the minutes, again, one point that I see is not well captured. Honorable Marekwa stated that we should get also a report regarding placements. So it should be a report relating to promotions as well as how they, as well as placement, and check on their policies. I think that's what she also requested should be coupled with regarding the request that we made on the last meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Peacock. I think in that written submission, as Lieutenant General Jimbani said, let's also include that so that honorable members have a full picture of everything. Honorable Kherike.
Yeah, Chair, good morning. Good morning to the colleagues, National Commissioner, Minister, Deputy Minister. Chair, let me just ask the report given by the National Commissioner now in regard to the issue of George. Can I raise some issues there, or are you going to stand this over till after the legacy report?
No, you are at liberty to raise whatever you want to raise regarding that report.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chairperson. To the General Commissioner General, thank you very much for the feedback. It is much appreciated. I am just concerned that maybe you don't have the updated report because part of what you report here this morning is indeed the case and what has transpired. It is now shocking to know that these guys are saying that they are a security company. Maybe they operate under the pretense of a security company, but they are actually a neighborhood watch. However, be that as it may, many people have been interviewed, and apparently there are statements available, Commissioner, through the Chairperson. The first case was declined by the prosecutor because there were not a lot of people that submitted statements. However, the investigating officer has now become or obtained statements from other people, and we suspect or we expect that the case be submitted again to the National Prosecuting Authority, because according to the investigating officer, the case has not been closed. But let me also just correct yourself that through the Chair, I was not interviewed. My brother, he submitted a complaint to the police. Then last week or the week before last, they interviewed his minor daughter that was also insulted and almost assaulted by those guys. So the case is much more serious than what we see at hand. I appreciate that you say that they may have been overreached, those guys. I also appreciate this morning the fact that you have initiated the process with CIRA to most probably just clamp down on these guys or inspect these guys or security companies in that area. But these companies are essentially used to promote and further their racist objectives in that area, General Commissioner. It is a serious matter. I would love the police to explore this matter further and, you know, let us get this thing to grip so that it doesn't occur again, Mr. Chair. So I think the General Commissioner, the National Commissioner needs to get the updated report from where the situation is now, because apparently they obtained statements from people that were sprayed by tear gas, disabled people. They have those statements. Some people that were running away, apparently they got them again, and they have the statements. The case must now go to the prosecutor, and then to decide for further prosecution. But I want to thank the General Commissioner for the swift intervention. Really, I from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for intervening in this matter, to listening to us. I also want to thank the Provincial Commissioner. When I spoke to him face to face, he did not even hesitate to call the relevant people there on the telephone, put them on the speaker, and confronted them in regard to this matter. But we are waiting on the closure of this matter and see what's going to happen in terms of the way forward. Thank you very much indeed, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Gerike. National Commissioner, you want to comment on what Honorable Munsu said, and Honorable Gerike, and Honorable Peacock?
Thanks, Honorable Chairperson and members. Starting with, I think, Honorable Peacock. Yeah, we will make to you available, Honorable Chair, a report on a placement. If you remember, the report said placement of all who's where, which is quite lengthy, and also promotions, how it is done. So we did take note that we are not doing presentations today, but those reports we will send to you because they are quite lengthy reports. We will make them available. And then in terms of the Westbury, yes, I'm aware about the outcry of the Westbury, Eldorado Park, and other areas in Johannesburg about the killing or senseless killing that is taking place there. I think the latest is the killing of a pharmacist. After the first killing we did, I did send the deputy national commissioners in that area. Together with the provincial commissioner, they put a team together. And since then, there's not yet an arrest on the first and the second murder. So I, myself, with the leadership, we will be again scrutinizing whether the plans are working, yes or no. And we are also in the process engaging the SANDF in terms of to assist in terms of patrols, but that, as you are aware, that it has to be approved by the president. We do have currently a SANDF that are part of the operation in the illicit mining areas. So what we are asking is, as they are within Gauteng province, patrolling the mining areas, can they assist us in visibility in those areas? That we still in the process of finalizing with them. We don't know whether they will agree or not, but we are in the process of negotiating that with the SANDF. But what we further doing is to make sure that we continuously, weekly review the work of the team that we have put there. Currently, is a team that is over 100 that is in that area, but we'll look at beefing it up with members from other provinces so that we can be able to bring the situation under control there and also bring those killers to book. We will definitely catch them. We regret the senseless killing, But indeed, those killers, we will bring them to book. The provincial commissioner and the deputy national commissioners did went through with the team in that area. So we will further review what the team has done so that we can, on a continuous basis, be able to adjust where adjustments are needed. I'm aware the provincial commissioner also appointed a brigadier that will solely be responsible for anti-gang unit in Gauteng. As you are aware, in Western Cape, we also appointed a brigadier as leadership of the anti-gang. So also here in Gauteng, this very week, we have appointed a brigadier solely to work with the anti-gang and focus 100% all the time, permanently, on the issue of gangs and drugs in Westbury and the other areas. With regard to what Honorable Kharige has said, yes, it's possible that there is an update now. I was talking from the report that I got from General Mukupedi from the last inspection visit when he was there. I'm sure I'll still get a updated report. But however, I do agree with Honorable Kharige that, yes, the team also did indicate, as I said, that they say in this security company, which we call it Neighborhood Watch, they are a little bit overreaching in terms of what they are doing in public places, because security companies don't have a mandate on the public places unless it's a public park where they are employed by a municipality or whoever. But otherwise, they serve only their clients. And with our project of E2, they assist us in terms of being our eyes and ears, and also telling us what is happening where, so that police can respond and deal with the problem. But they do not have a mandate to do the police work. So that will still pursue and finalize. We will not leave it unattended. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, National Commissioner. Thanks very much, honorable members. Let's continue. I think the resolution on this one is that the National Commissioner promises that they will submit a report on the judgment, Judge Tulare. They will also submit a report, as Lieutenant General Jimbani said, on promotions, transfers, and so on and so on. If we can receive, because seemingly the reports are available, if we can receive those reports by end of next week, whilst this is our last official meeting, but the committee is still in force until the 21st of May. And if there's a need to call a special meeting to discuss certain issues, the committee will definitely convene such a meeting before that date. So I'm just saying this is our last official meeting, but if there's a need for a special or an emergency meeting, we'll definitely do so. So let's receive those reports by the end of next week, so that members are able to check whether their questions are well answered. Honorable members, with your permission, let's move to the next item, which is a consideration of the legacy report. And I'm going to allow all of us, from SAPS, from SIRA, from DPCI, from Secretariat, the Executive Director. If you want to input into the legacy report, you see something that you think needs to be captured, we do so. While priority will be given to honorable members, but in case you see we have missed something or you want to suggest an improvement, we'll definitely do so. Let me allow our content advisor, Nicolette, to present the report to us so that we are able to discuss and ultimately adopt the report. Nicolette?
Good morning, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Members, National Commissioner and all HODs and colleagues on the platform. Chair, as you stated, I will run through the draft legacy report for the consideration of the members. Chair, I'm not going to read through it. I think everything, but I will highlight the most pertinent issues. So, Chair, we just have here the table of content for the report. It's quite a lengthy report. And in terms of the executive summary, Chair, you've already touched on some of the issues contained in the legacy report. We have included the COVID-19 pandemic as it disrupted the work of Parliament, but more importantly, the committee did conduct oversight over the way in which the police managed the lockdown regulations in conjunction with the SANDF. And Chair, for policing oversight, and that's quite an important role to play for Parliament, especially in these very unprecedented events. Honourable members, the Chairperson also touched on the fire at Parliament and how this impacted our work. The committee, the focus areas of the committee of the 6th Parliament was on the processing of legislation, in terms of the Criminal Law, Forensic Procedures Amendment Act of 2022, the Protection of Constitutional Democracy Against Terrorist and Related Activities Amendment Act of 2022, or as we know it, POCDETARA, and also the Independent Police Investigative Directorate Amendment Bill, which was just passed by the NCOP and sent to the President for assent. Honourable members, as the Chair pointed out, one of the key areas of parliamentary oversight is the consideration of departmental budget allocations, annual performance plans and strategic plans, and annual report hearings. Throughout the 6th Parliament, the committee have met with all of our departments on the respective key documents for performance, and we've adopted several reports on these issues, and that was tabled in Parliament and adopted as formal resolutions of the National Assembly. Over the 5 years, the committee has conducted 13 oversight visits to various units and police stations countrywide. Another key area of oversight was firearm control in terms of the digitization of firearm-related applications, including ownership or firearm certificates, and also competency certificates, clearing the backlog in the firearm applications, the relocation of staff working in the Veritas building, which has unfortunately experienced significant challenges. And the committee has also approved 2 firearm amnesties, the one in 2019-2020 and the other one in 2020-21. Furthermore, the committee also played a crucial part in clearing the backlog in the DNA analysis and facilitating the forensic science laboratories. In terms of statutory appointments, the committee oversaw and approved the appointment of the executive director of IPID, and the committee has also appointed the critical infrastructure, recommended the candidates for the Critical Infrastructure Council to the Minister of Police. Honourable members, in terms of key areas for further work that will be handed over to the second Parliament is the processing of legislation, and this will include the SAPS Act, the Firearm Control Act, the Stock Theft Act, the Second-Hand Goods Act.
Nicolette, just a minute. Honorable Sheikh Imam, can you close your mic? Yeah. Sorry for that, Nicolette. You can continue.
Thank you, Tree. The fourth one will be the Second-Hand Goods Act, the Civilian Secretariat for Police Service Act, and possible amendments to the Critical Infrastructure Protection Act. A further area is strengthening the discipline ecosystem of the SAPS through the review of the SAPS Act and the SAPS disciplinary regulations, building the legislative capacity, drafting capacity in the Civilian Secretariat for Police. The firearm license applications should be made online, as the committee discussed previously. Through the development, finalization, and installation of a firearm control system, which is currently under development by the department in conjunction with CETA, the construction and maintenance of police stations through the devolution of functions from the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure to the South African Police Service, support the SAPS to pursue its exemption from the State Information Technology Agency, or SITA, including the establishment of internal capacity to manage functions taken over from SITA and the exploration of other service provider provisioning models, such as public-private partnerships and build-own transfers. Further, they do the capacitation of the public order police units, incorporating the recommendations of the Parliament Panel of Experts, the Presidential Panel of Experts on the 2021 July unrest, and the South African Human Rights Commission investigative report on the July 2021 unrest. Coupled with this, honourable members, the next Parliament and committee should consider to conduct a parliamentary inquiry into the July 2021 unrest. The next key area of focus will be the increased role of private security service providers as force multipliers in crime intelligence and visible policing, in structured collaboration with the SAPS and honourable members. It's very important that this partnership must be structured properly. And I think this will also possibly avoid the situation that is currently emerging in George. The capacity, another key focus area is the capacitation of all divisions of the SAPS forensic science laboratories, including biology, chemistry, and ballistics. Facilitate a multidisciplinary parliamentary approach to consider the obligations under the Convention Against Torture and other cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment or punishment, better known as the OPCAT, and the National Preventive Mechanism with the relevant portfolio committees of Parliament, including Health, Justice, Correctional Services, and Defence. Honourable members will remember that this issue came up when we did the IBIT bill, and we had lengthy discussions on how to approach a coordinated framework of Parliament and not to implement the OPCAT provisions on an ad hoc or fragmented basis. Honourable members, the key challenges emerging from the Sixth Parliament over the past 5 years would be the delay in drafting of legislation for introduction to Parliament, which has been an ongoing challenge. Third-party dependencies experienced by the SAPS, notably the DPC, the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, and the SETA. It has devastating impact on service delivery to bring policing services closer to the communities, and digitalization of police services, notably firearm license applications. A further challenge is that the lived experience of citizens are not sufficiently incorporated in and measured by the performance indicators of the SAPS. The capacity and performance of Detective Services Program have declined consistently over the 5 years, notably in crime detection and FSL, resulting in significantly low performance in both divisions. The IBIT has accumulated a significant backlog in cases, which must be addressed as a matter of urgency. Honourable members, in terms of administration, the committee should be allocated additional meeting days and support staff due to the nature and workload of the policing portfolio, and further the underutilization of parliamentary legal services to develop and draft committee bills to process necessary legislation. In terms of key recommendations, we've noted here that departments are requested to give feedback on the recommendations listed below by 15 May this year. As we mentioned earlier, this will allow members to also have a thorough understanding of the issues raised in the legacy report and to see whether responses thereto are adequate. And this will also be made available to the Second Parliament. In terms of the South African Police Service, and the department should find solutions to address their third-party dependencies on DPWI and SETA. The capacity and budget allocation to all divisions and sub-programs in the Detective Services Program must be reviewed, predominantly to investigate the investigative capacity of detectives, including remuneration, retention of skilled detectives, caseload, quality of investigations, to ultimately result in high detection rates and conviction rates. And the forensic science laboratories, including all divisions such as chemistry, biology, and ballistics. The detection of crime and associated evidentiary exhibits are the crux of the criminal justice value chain, and without which the system stands the possibility of collapse. Honourable members, an interim solution should be finalised to support and resource community policing forums while awaiting the CPF funding model to be included in the South African Police Service Amendment Bill. While acknowledging that the service of the CPFs is rendered on a voluntary basis under the SAPS Act, these structures should be resourced as a key pillar in the community-oriented policing paradigm adopted in South Africa in 1995 to transform the SAPS. Honourable members, just a side note here, the 80 million allocation made by the Minister was very welcome, but this must be structured in a way that adequately resources CPFs. The Department of Police should balance and prioritize the three aspects of its constitutional mandate to prevent, combat, and investigate crime equally. No one of these should attract priority, resourcing, and/or capacitation. The discipline ecosystem of the SAPS must be improved through the review of the SAPS Act and SAPS disciplinary regulation and capacitating the IPIT. The SAPS must present the revised promotion policy to the committee once finalized in the Safety and Security Sectoral Bargaining Council, or SSBC. The lack of promotions and career progression in the SAPS are affecting the morale of police members negatively and must be addressed as a matter of priority. Honourable members, moving to the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigations. The committee recommends that negotiations with the National Treasury should resume to establish the DPCI as a separate budget program of the SAPS and to move them outside from a sub-program within detectives to our own separate budget program. This requires a legislative amendment to the SAPS Act to clarify the wording in the establishment of the Directorate. And this will offer greater independence to the DPCI to conduct investigations without fear or favour. In terms of the Independent Police Investigative Directorate, the department must demonstrate improved capacity to fill its vacant funded post and reduce its underspending on compensation of employees to enable the committee to support recommendations to National Treasury for additional funding. Honourable members, this demonstration will allow the department to appoint more investigators, resulting in an increased performance, especially in the department's core service delivery program. Unfortunately, it is futile to recommend that performance target must be increased when there is no capacity to investigate cases reported to the IPIT. The increasing caseload of the Directorate, including backlog cases, post-decision ready cases, and active or new intake cases, must be addressed as a matter of urgency. In terms of the Civilian Secretariat for Police, the legislative drafting capacity of the Secretariat should be increased to effectively deal with the increasing demand for the review of legislation in the police portfolio. Furthermore, the impact of the department should be increased. Honourable members, in terms of the Private Security Industry Regulatory Authority, ZERA, The review of the authority's funding model should be prioritized through the review and tabling of the Private Security Industry Levies Act of 2002. Unfortunately, this is a money's bill, and the onus rests on the National Treasury and Minister of Finance to table the review of this act. Honourable members, as previously mentioned, the committee should be allowed additional meeting days to address significant scope of the portfolio and be allowed more oversight visits. During orientation workshops, the committee members in the 7th Parliament, a 5-year crime statistics trend analysis should be presented to members by external criminology experts, such as the presentation by Dr. Jean Redpath, presented to the committee in late November 2023. The committee should use the parliamentary legal services to develop and draft committee bills to amend priority legislation instead of depending on the executive authority to submit such legislation in Parliament. The Parliament should prioritize the appointment of parliamentary researchers to support the committee, as his post has been vacant by the end of the 6th Parliament. Honourable members, moving on, this is just an introduction to the report. I don't think I'm going to go through the whole wording of the section. It just states that or what Parliament's obligations are under Section 25, sub 2 of the Constitution. Section 2 of the report gives an overview of the departments, entities, and statutory bodies within our portfolio, and it just gives the key mandate or strategic objectives of the South African Police Service, the Civilian Secretariat for Police Service, the Independent Police Investigative Directorate, and then SERA as the only entity within our portfolio. In terms of the statutory structures reporting to Parliament, this will be the National Forensics Oversight and Ethics Board, or commonly known as the DNA Board. They are also required to report annually to the committee, although they are a sub-program within the Civilian Secretariat. This also applies to the Office of the Directorate for the DPCI Judge, which must also report to Parliament, despite being a sub-program of the Secretariat. And honourable members, the chairperson highlighted the functions of the committee under Section 3 of this report. Section 4 of the report also highlights the method of work of the committee and how the committee normally conduct its oversight. Section 5 of the legacy report just states the purpose of the report to give an overview of the work conducted by the 6th Parliament for handing over to the next Parliament. Honourable members, in terms of the key statistics, over the 5 years, the committee had 158 meetings. We processed 3 legislations. We undertook 13 oversight visits, and we made 2 statutory appointments and considered 8 petitions. Honourable members, I've just highlighted in section 7 the membership of the committee in terms of the original membership at the start of the 6th Parliament, and that's in terms of the ATC of 2019. Then we've highlighted the members who served on the committee for the duration of the 6th parliamentary term, which is Honourable Molekwa, Honourable Peacock, Honourable Whitfield, General de Blanche, Honourable Majosi, Dr. Groenewald, Reverend Meshu, and Honourable Sheikh Imam. Honourable members, I further highlighted changes to the committee membership in the session, and there was quite a few changes in our committee over the past year. Section 8 of the report deals with the stakeholders, and the committee engaged with several stakeholders, especially during the processing of legislation, but also during the normal conducting of business, where we called external experts to address the committee on various issues. Section 9 of the legacy report deals with the key achievements of the committee. The first will be the unqualified financial statements of the SAPS. The department went through a period where they received a couple of qualified audit reports between 2016-17 and 19-20. But in 2020-21, and years after that, the department received unqualified audit reports, which is very a good achievement. Further, the committee played a crucial role in the reduction in the DNA backlog and the functioning of the DNA board. Another key achievement is the full implementation of the Criminal Law Forensic Procedures Amendment Act, or better known as the DNA Amendment Act. The strengthening of the global fight against terrorism and terrorist financing through the amendments to the POCTATARA. The processing of the IPID Amendment Bill to strengthen the independence of the IPID. Another key achievement is in terms of the committee's focus on the lack of capacity within police training academies. Further thereto, the committee uncovered significantly low staff morale during meetings, and the reasons therefore was explained. In terms of gender-based violence and femicide, the committee regularly meet on these aspects. The committee, through continuous pressure on the Minister of Police, quarterly statistics are released in Parliament through committee meetings before being released to the public. The committee approved 2 separate firearm amnesties. The committee gathered significant information during our 5 years, and this information is crucial for further research, not only by Parliament, but also external stakeholders. The committee conducted oversight on the July 2021 unrest. We had meetings and considered a very detailed implementation plan that was developed by the SAPS to implement the recommendations made by the panel of experts that was appointed by the president. In terms of the state capture report, and the committee had meetings with the DPCI, SAPS, and IPID on progress of investigations emanating from the state capture report, and this will be taken forward in the second Parliament. Section 10 deals with briefings and all public hearings. We've just, honourable members, highlighted here the most significant briefings we had and public hearings. In terms of the processing of the DNA amendment bill, the POC-TARA, we had several briefings by the Institute for Security Studies, or ISS, on evidence-based policing. We had a briefing by the Western Cape Community Policing Forums and Neighbourhood Watches. We had the panel of experts on policing and crowd management, and the individual members addressed the committee. We had consultations with the South African Human Rights Commission and also the Commission of Gender Equality. We've had briefings by Mr. Daniel Knudsen from the Ground Up organization and also by the Cape Town Law Enforcement Division. Honourable members, section 11 of the report deals with the key challenges faced by or during the 5 years of the 6th Parliament. And this will include the SAPS infrastructure development, maintenance and lease management, the digitization of firearm licensing, the SAPS staff establishment and organizational structure, the resourcing of community policing forums, the review of legislation, the full appointment and operationalization of the Critical Infrastructure Council, the discipline management in the SAPS, promotion policy, and appointments made by the Minister of Police. And honourable members, although we don't have full power over the appointments made by the Minister of Police, except for the appointment of the IPID Executive Director, the committee should ensure that these appointments of the Secretary, the DNA Board, the DPCI Judge, and the CERA Council be made timeously. Section 12 of the report gives an overview of the legislation that was processed by the committee during the 6th Parliament, the DNA, the DNA bill, the POC-TARA bill, and the IPID amendment bill. And it just gives the details on the tagging and the objectives and the status of these bills, which all been completed. In terms of challenges emerging, and the periods for processing legislation were limited due to the urgency of bills processed by the committee. The extensions allowed for public participation on the POC-TARA bill jeopardized the processing of the bill. The limited submissions were received on both the POC-TARA and DNA bills due to the technical nature of amendments. And honourable members, we are referring here to substantive submissions. The extension to the scope of amendments proposed in legislation should be considered within the confines of the parliamentary rules. In terms of content-related challenges, the amendments to the POC-TARA were very technical in nature and not always well understood by the committee. Issues for follow-up by the 7th Parliament. Legislation should be introduced in Parliament timelessly. Departments and the Minister of Police should remain cognizant of parliamentary processes and timeframes to process legislation, and the committee should adhere to timeframes for public participation. Section 13 of the report deals with oversight visits undertaken by the police, by the committee during the 6th Parliament. As stated earlier, we conducted 13 oversight visits. The August 2019 was the joint oversight with the Portfolio Committee on Defence and Military Veteran to the joint deployments in the Cape Flats. We also had an oversight visit in August 2021 to the Central Firearm Registry and the Forensic Science Laboratory in Pretoria. We've highlighted the recommendations contained in the report, where the responses were received, which was received. Follow-up issues would be the relocation of the CFR personnel, presentation on the envisaged features of the digital CFR platform, and the completion of all maintenance contracts for DNA analysis machines. The report was adopted. In August 2021, the committee visited KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng to assess the damage that was done during the July 2021 unrest. We've included the recommendations here. The response was received, and we've highlighted 3 issues for follow-up by the 7th Parliament. In March 2022, the committee visited the Norwood and Tembisa police stations. Norwood especially was based on the theft of evidence firearms from the SAPS 13 store. We've highlighted the recommendations made in the report. We have received the responses, and we've highlighted follow-up issues for the 7th Parliament. And honourable members, I think throughout the oversight visits, we have definitely seen the devastating impact that alcohol and the issuing of liquor licenses have on communities. And a key here is that the committee should schedule a meeting with the national and provincial liquor boards to discuss the impact of alcohol on crime. In October and September 2022, the committee participated in the joint oversight visits led by the Portfolio Committee on Mineral Resources. We've included all the recommendations. Responses was received, and follow-up issues, which are mostly pertaining to the Department of Mineral Resources. In March 2023, the committee visited Amanzimtoti and the Gqeberha Forensic Science Laboratories. We've listed their recommendations, received the responses to their recommendations. Honourable members, in May 2023, the committee visited the Tresai Battalion in Kimberley, where police members are being trained, the Kimberley Police Station, the Central Firearm Register in Pretoria, and the Swane Training Academy. The recommendations has been captured, and we have received responses to the recommendations. Our last oversight visit was in December 2023, where we visit the 3 stations in the Limpopo province to assess the capacity and capabilities of SAPS to construct police stations. We have included the recommendations, and we have received responses on this. The challenges emerging, honourable members, are dependencies on outsourced travel agents for quotations, which delay the application process for oversight, and the parliamentary approval process is lengthy, and adequate time should be allowed for these processes in planning oversight visits. In terms of content-related challenges, the provinces we visited was quite vast. Which impacted on the ability of the committee to really visit all the provinces and several police stations located within the province. Honourable members, moving on to section 14 of the legacy report in terms of study tours. Unfortunately, the Sixth Parliament did not have an opportunity to undertake an international study tour, but we have included here recommendations for the Seventh Parliament to consider study tours on the following matters where international best practices would aid in improving service delivery in the police. We've highlighted a focus on the establishment of independent civilian oversight bodies to strengthen the mandate, independence, and binding implementations of recommendations for the IPID. We've also highlighted possible visit to focus on policy developments for police services and how implementation thereof is monitored. And this would focus on the international structures similar to the Civilian Secretariat for Police Service. And then also to visit jurisdictions to learn about strengthening the regulatory framework for private security industry and the interplay between private security and the police. And also to visit jurisdictions to learn about ways to strengthen discipline within the police service. Honourable members, it's very important that countries with similar socio-economic factors and crime rates to South Africa be chosen for study tours, and this will be recommended to the Seventh Parliament. The committee did not engage on any international agreements during our time. And in terms of statutory appointments, the committee approved the appointment of the Executive Director of IPID in 2020. And in 2021, the committee interviewed the members to serve on the Critical Infrastructure Council. Honourable members, as I stated earlier, while the committee is only mandated to oversee or facilitate the appointments of these two structures or in these two appointment processes, the other heads of departments should be, the appointment made by the minister must be monitored by the committee. Honourable members, I've just here highlighted all the delays that was experienced through the appointment process by the minister. In terms of the IPID was without a permanent head for 16 months. The CP and the Civilian Secretariat was without a head for more than 2 years. The Office of the GPCI Judge had been without a permanent head for more than a year. The DNA Board was without a permanent head for more than a year. And the CIRA operated without a council, which is an accounting authority, for a full year. In terms of issues for follow-up for the 7th Parliament, we are experiencing some challenges with the Critical Infrastructure Council, especially around the security clearance, but that is being addressed and will be carried through to the 7th Parliament, and then regular monitoring of senior vacancies within the policing portfolio. Honourable members, moving on to section 17 of the report, in terms of interventions, we've highlighted the intervention made by the committee on the reduction of the DNA analysis backlog. In terms of section 18 of the report, the committee handled 8 petitions, and that is reflected below in this section. In terms of challenges emerging, petitioners were not always available to the committee and had challenges attending the hearings. As members of Parliament represented the petitioner in hearings of the petitions, and petitioners did not always understand the parliamentary process in dealing with petitions. An issue for follow-up by the 7th Parliament is progress on the investigation of the death of Lieutenant Colonel Charles Kinnear. Honourable members, in terms of section 19 of the legacy report, it deals with obligations conferred on the committee by legislation. And that's just highlighting, based on the Constitution, the rules of the National Assembly and the Money Bill Amendment Procedures and Related Matters Act of 2009. In addition to the above, the committee must also assess the following reported the following reports tabled in Parliament under legislation, which is the Domestic Violence Act, which must be monitored biannually, and also the Independent Police Investigative Directorate Act, also biannual reports under Section 9 of the IPID Act. Challenges emerging under this is due to the limited time, the committee was unable to consider the IPID Section 9 or biannual reports. And the committee placed its focus on the annual report, which basically condenses the biannual reports into an annual figure. And due to further time constraints, the committee was unable to regularly consider the biannual reports on the implementation of the DVA. However, the committee recently had a meeting on the Domestic Violence Act, and we were joined by the Committee on Women and Children and People with Disabilities during this meeting. In terms of the issues for follow-up to the 7th Parliament, the Budgetary Review and Recommendations report should be better utilized to make financial recommendations on the forward allocation of departmental budgets as the money bills obliges National Treasury and the Minister of Finance to publish responses to recommendations made by committees during his annual budget review, and then the consideration of IPID biannual and DVA compliance biannual reports should be prioritized. Honourable members, Section 20 of the report deals with a summary of outstanding issues relating to departments, entities. In terms of the SAPs, the remuneration scales of the national head, deputy head, and provincial heads of the DPCI must be submitted to Parliament for approval under Section 17CA sub 9 of the SAPS Act. This issue is currently outstanding. The full implementation of the Critical Infrastructure Protection Act is outstanding, including the appointment and operationalization, the effectiveness of the Critical Infrastructure Council, and the full implementation of the July 2021 unrest recommendations. In terms of the Civilian Secretariat for Police Service, the following acts must be prioritized. It would have been or should have been tabled during the 6th Parliament, but there were delays experienced. In terms of the IPID, the backlog and active caseload under investigation must be reduced. Finalize investigations emanating from the State Capture Report on alleged SAPS criminality, and preventative inspections at police holding cells to prevent torture of persons deprived of their liberty under the OPCAT. In terms of the Private Security Industry Regulatory Authority, the issue outstanding, as mentioned earlier, is the review and retabling of the Private Security Industry Levies Act of 2002, which must be done by National Treasury and the Minister of Finance. In terms of outstanding matter from Parliament and our committee is to conduct an inquiry into the 20 July 2021 unrest, or focus on the monitoring of the implementation plan that was presented and developed by the SAPS. Honourable members, Section 21 of the Legacy Report brings us to the legacy recommendations, and we've also here requested that departments should provide feedback by the 15th of May 2024. Chair and honourable members, most of these recommendations has been covered in previous sections. I'll just highlight the ones that was not previously stated. The one here I can highlight is SAPS must research the impact of illegal foreigners on crime to enable the department to make informed decisions on methods to deal with this challenge. The department should be able to adapt to changing crime patterns with effectively and with speed. Specific note is made to the capacitation of the cybersecurity divisions of the SAPS and DPCI to address emerging threats in commercial crime and other such as mass shootings and kidnapping. The SAPS must conduct regular lifestyle audits and security vetting on senior management and officers serving in sensitive divisions, such as the CFR and other divisions that are susceptible to corruption. The DPCI should be adequately resourced and capacitated and must become either a separate budget program of the SAPS or a designated department. The integrated justice system revamp, budget and program implementation be closely monitored by the 7th Parliament. The department should ensure full implementation of critical systems and infrastructure, such as the 10111 and the ICDMS or e-docket system to enhance crime prevention and response strategies. Conclude that. Honourable members, in terms of the Civilian Secretariat for Police, we've noted that the legislative drafting capacity must be improved. The department should develop strategies to drive bigger impact on police performance and professionalism. The department's guiding legislation should be strengthened to bind SAPS to the implementation of recommendations and policy directions developed by the Secretariat. And the department should improve its marketing strategies to the public to bring about awareness on the role that the CSPs play in police accountability. Honourable members, in terms of the IPID, the filling of vacancies, performance targets must be improved, and through that, capacity must be increased. The development and implementation of the department's new case management system should be prioritized. The new system will enable information sharing and collaboration on investigations within other law enforcement agencies across South Africa. Then investigations related to the recommendations emanating from the State Capture Report must be prioritized and finalized. Efforts to decrease the accumulated backlog must be intensified, including outstanding toxicology reports. Disciplinary regulations or disciplinary recommendations made to the SAPS must be monitored and reviewed if deemed necessary. And this provision has been included in the review of the IPID Act. And then consultations with the NPA should be increased to secure a higher conviction rate on criminal referrals. In terms of the private security industry regulatory authority, the role of private security in crime prevention should be further researched and formalized. Lessons learned from the Eyes and Ears project or E2 project and the rural E2 project should be studied and best practice implemented countrywide. In terms of number 3, mechanisms should be prioritized to encourage the entrance of female security officers to the private security industry. The authority should fast-track amendments to the SERA Amendment Act, Section 22, that deals with the percentage of ownership, especially by resolving other concerns outlined by stakeholders relating to the exemption of 51% local ownership. Mechanisms must be found to minimize litigation against the authority, to curb legal costs resulting from judgment and audit findings against the authority. Security companies must be empowered through workshops and education awareness and regarding its regulations to minimize the violation of security officers' rights, especially working conditions and wages. Recommendations to the Portfolio Committee of the 7th Parliament would be the better utilization of the budgetary review and recommendations report to make financial recommendations regarding the budget allocations of our departments, the better utilization of parliamentary legal services to draft legislation or committee bills, and continue monitoring the implementation of recommendations and progress on investigations emanating from the State Capture Report and parliamentary implementation plan thereof, and to conduct a parliamentary inquiry into the July 2021 unrest, or to monitor the implementation of recommendations by the SAPS and the Civilian Secretariat Police Service. Section 22 of the legacy report deals with the master attendance list, which will be included as soon as it is finalized. Three honorable members, that brings us to the end of the legacy report. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Nicolette. Honorable members, I think Nicolette presented a detailed report, although in a summary form. I think it will still be cleaned up where there are repetitions or typos. But can I check? Let us not focus on typos and so on. Let's focus on the content. Honorable members. Honorable Shegima.
Yes, thank you very much, Chairperson. Just one thing I think we need to deal a little differently with, and that was the challenges, and I must thank Nicolette, actually. She did a fantastic piece of work, no doubt about it, Chairperson. But on the issue of, those taverns and things, I think one of the things we identified, it was not the liquor board really that per se were the problem. It was the local governments that were issuing this 24-hour licenses and things, which was making it very difficult for the police. So, the liquor licenses, as far as I know and understood, we're giving licenses up to 2 o'clock. Perhaps it needs to be revisited, but the local authorities were making it 24 hours. That's what I think came out very, very clear. But also, I think, Chairperson, for the 7th Parliament must deal with issues affecting the police officers. The number of police officers that are being killed as a result of not having enough protection, where they've only got firearms and nothing else, and there are many other equipment that they can equip themselves with that can give them added protection when it comes to that. So I think they must deal with that, and I think you've dealt with the other issue where the 7th Parliament must deal with resources for the Department of Police, including the human resource and many other issues. And lastly, of course, their workload. you know, 7th Parliament has to deal. It's impossible for detectives sitting with 100 and 200 dockets to be able to deal with this. We've dealt with the issue of the promotions, I think. But I think that, and I know we're going to get, well, we're not going to get presentation, but the 7th Parliament is going to get that. But one thing that has come clear is that while ranks are not available, those that qualify, Chairperson, based on the number of years experience and the qualifications, should be compensated financially if you can't accommodate them because you don't want too many generals and officers on the road. And then let's not forget the benefits for these police officers. I'll stop there, Chairperson. Just those couple of comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sheikh Imam, Honorable Marekwa.
Thank you, Chairperson, and greetings to all on the platform. No, Chair, from my side, I need to commend the office, our admin, the content advisor, in the with the manner how she structured the report. I think it's assisting, and it highlights actually, Chair, things that I know from the time that I joined the committee that we have been raising in a number of meetings and giving clear directives and what needs to be done by the different parties or role players within the committee, like the police, the different secretariat and so on. So I think it gives everybody a sense of responsibility to say these are the things that going to the next administration you need to be looking at and dealing with. Chair, the other thing that I want to raise regarding police, I think the budget emphasis also the increase of the budget. I think I know we spoke about it in the past 2 meetings that the police needs more budget. The police needs to look at a housing scheme. We once raised it, Chair, that we know that there are younger police officers joining the police who are paid when you are assessing. It looks like they get a lot of money, but not enough for them to secure a bond or to buy a house. So the housing scheme will be important to make sure that no police officer is staying in an environment which is not conducive and safe for the type of work that they are doing. So I think that needs to be done, and engagements with the government, what is this, GPF and the other parties, that's where the police, public sector workers are investing, their money are being used. There needs to be those engagements to ensure that police get proper housing. And as we talk of the budget also, Chairperson, the security of the police, making sure that they have enough protective clothing, like your bulletproofs and other things, the type of cars that they are driving. You can't chase a criminal who's driving a 4x4 or whatever, and then you are driving a packy that needs to be pushed from time to time. And the effectiveness of the garages, so that when the cars of the police are going in for repair or whatever service, they are out immediately because sometimes they are staying there for long. So capacity building also of those areas, but those areas can be addressed only when there's enough budget. We also need to make sure that those programs, Chairperson, that are so effective, like Bushaya, Shanyela, and the others that are really bringing criminals to book, needs to be continued, and budgets will talk to that. So we know that when we say budgets, you request 20 rand and you get 15 rand. It's a given, but it should not be cut to an extent where they are found to be not able to do the work that they are doing as the police. With regard to the security companies, Chair, I think the report captures a number of things that we, SIRA, captures a number of things that we have raised, including the empowerment and recruitment of women in this sector. But emphasis needs to be given to the issue of the proliferation of guns in the communities where we are living, and the fake or illegal people fronting as security guards but doing other criminal activities. I think Syria needs to step up and make sure that those things do not happen, because guns can't be just all over, and we cannot just have security companies, even if you don't know, the owner might not be even in South Africa. So there must be proper regulation and clear directives in terms of how these companies must operate, because crime is sometimes committed by those fronting as security companies, Chair. With the others, Chair, I think the report is very comprehensive and it covers and gives directives, and we hope that come the next administration, the work and the budgets will be considered seriously, and that the police is able to do the work that they are given of securing the people of this country. So as we know, you mentioned, Chair, that it's our last meeting, but we know that the work of the police don't stop. They continue working, and wishing them all the best in the fight against crime. Thank you, Chair, and thanks to Nicolette for the report. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Golden.
Thank you, Chairperson, and thank you to Nicolette. That's quite a lot of detail that I've gone through there. Chair, let me not introduce anything new or more, but just highlight one or two things. One of the recommendations coming out of our oversight visit to Limpopo was my recommendation that we actually draft a national water plan or a strategy. I did highlight it again in our meeting with Public Works when looking at the specific budget items. It appears that there's a fair amount of money being expended around water, and as water becomes more scarce, it does need further planning. We also have picked up on that there's a fair amount of generation and solar going in. And I don't think that needs to be an ad hoc one. So it was raised in that session, but I do think it needs to be highlighted that around this alternate services, be they energy or be they water, I do think there needs to be proper planning done around that, not in an ad hoc sense. It does eat a fair amount of the budget. So even though it was raised under the oversight, it was also raised in the Public Works meeting. And I do think that needs to be forward as a recommendation that we plan singularly for this going forward in all precincts with regards to water and in alternate energy. And then my last input is that while we are recommending that the department looks at alternate methods of lease management and infrastructure maintenance outside of Public Works, the other one was also looking to seek an exemption from SETA because of issues which we're having. I think it's imperative that we recommend to the 7th Parliament that while that happens, or while that is explored, it is imperative that on a more regular basis, as we did a few weeks ago, we do call these other agencies like Public Works and SETA into the portfolio to account on their progress or lack thereof. Specifically, I'm thinking about SETA as it seems to be slightly holding up the implementation of the integrated case docket management system. And we can't wait for an annual report to come out. These things take time. So either we need to call them into a portfolio on a more regular basis, or at least we need them to just present a report on where they are, because SAPS is being hamstrung by external agencies. That is all. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Terpladge.
Chairperson, thank you. Let me also start by commending our people, our staff, and specifically Nicolette, for this outstanding report. I think this is very, very comprehensive and very informative. Chairperson, I think that we can safely say that we have moved quite a bit forward since, we started at the beginning of, 2019. One of the honorable colleagues already said that police work will never stop, and obviously, we will still have to, the next Committee 7 Parliament will have to take from where we left. Yeah, there are still a lot of challenges, Chairperson. I think some of the challenges that quite a lot of them were mentioned, like the budget and all that. But I think, we can still make a lot of progress, focusing on small little things and remembering that, the police, they will have to, and that I'm not saying they're not doing it, but obviously, they will have to put effort into that, moving or propelling the police further into the 21st century, new equipment and stuff that they can utilize. And obviously also, into the environment of, AI and stuff like that. Chairperson, I think that the committee did quite well in terms of serious issues that, had to be attended to. And, obviously, I want to think that we are going to leave the police in a better situation where we found them. And jointly we achieved that. It's not, us as a committee only. Jointly we achieved that. And Chairperson, I want to wish them well. And I hope that, from the outside, we'll see that we are making serious progress in this country. Chairperson, one thing still, that I also want to recommend, the police will have to ensure, that they sort of get rid of the silo approach, not by them, but by government as a whole. It can only be tackled, in an integrated approach. It can only, be achieved with, if they can build out, on partnership policing with the community. And Chairperson, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thanks very much, Honorable Majosi.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning to colleagues, subs, and our support staff. Mine, no, it's you, Chairperson. I think I agree with the report. It was captured very well. And maybe to emphasize on certain issues, I heard that when Nicolette was presenting the inquiry of the July unrest, that we need to make sure that it goes to the 7th Parliament, so that whichever committee that will be there will be able to deal with it, because we can't allow the country to be held hostage by certain people because of certain issues. But I agree with that, and I saw that it was highlighted that that inquiry will then go to the 7th Parliament. The issue again of SETA, I think the 7th Parliament, it should be on the top priority. That as Honorable Tereplanche has said, we must now get into the 21st century as the South African Police Service, and we must be able to capture cases not on paper manually, but have a digital way of doing it. So the whatever agreement we have with SETA, I think it must be implemented in the next term. Whichever committee will come in, they must find that is of the top priority, that SETA must start now implementing the digital transformation for SAPS. And then also, I think what I didn't necessarily hear is that we had an operation where we had a duration of I don't know what we called it, I forgot the name, but where people were allowed to come and bring their illegal firearms or any firearm that they are not in need of. I think also that should continue in the 7th Parliament, so that it was good that we were able to at least get a lot of firearms that were roaming around in the societies. But if we can bring that operation back again to be maybe part of the things that the 7th Parliament will do. What I didn't hear much of, Chair, is when we started in the 6th Parliament, I remember with our former chairperson, Ms. Peterson, may her soul rest in peace, we wanted to benchmark our portfolio with other countries. And I do remember, it's just that I'm not quite sure of the countries that we wanted to do oversight on and see how they proceed with their committees in terms of subs and so forth. But we did have that. Maybe if it's something that can be put as well on the 7th Parliament to say we must benchmark with other countries to see how they handle their committees on subs, and not committees only, but also subs as a whole, to see what is it that we can help, what is it that we can maybe gain from them, and maybe also they can also gain from our side. Also, Chair, with the issue of maybe not having enough police stations and so forth, I think at some point in time, there's a meeting where I raised this, especially in Gauteng, that once this issue of e-tolls is done, those offices will not be utilized. So why not start the negotiations now? So that we are able to occupy those offices and turn them into subs offices. And we then, in that manner, we are able then to reach people, especially in freeways, maybe surrounding areas as well, because you will find that one police station is serving 15 suburbs or 15 township areas, of which it's not viable when you look at it in that manner. But maybe start that process. It's something I had raised before in the committee, that maybe we need to start those negotiations now, so that when we know that the issue of e-tolls is closed, we are able then to say, no, but we've been negotiating, can we then be offered to occupy those offices and turn them into subs police stations? It will be easier to reach people in certain areas, and all accidents and whatever hijackings that are happening on freeways, it will be easier, because then we will have offices that are there, and there'll be maybe cars that will be roaming around in freeways to eliminate and combat the issue of hijackings and crime. Those are the only issues. But all in all, I support the report. It is well captured. It reflects everything that we had spoken about in the 6th Parliament. I hope that subs continues with the way that we've been doing things, the reportings that have been happening and everything, and also the relationships that we have built, and how then they've managed to make sure that when we call, they are forever reachable for the help of the people. But yeah, we hope that subs prevails, and we are able to combat the issue of crime. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much. Last hand, Honorable Gerike.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chair, yes, let me also contribute my little piece. I'm a newcomer to the committee, and for the past couple of months that I have served on this committee, I have witnessed absolute professionalism and people that know what they do, that are committed to their roles and responsibilities. And I want to, particularly from our side, thank the administrative personnel for each time that we submitted a request to them or an inquiry, they have responded, and they have responded punctually, and that is a huge plus point from my side. Thank you for the report this morning, Nicolette, and everybody that assisted you, from Babalwa to Luby to most probably, I do not know all the names, but this is a very comprehensive report. Even for myself, that's a newcomer, I have a better understanding of what has transpired over the past few years. And it gives us a real understanding of policing, the shortcomings, the challenges, and so on in our country. So even on the level of the police, the Office of the National Commission, and so on, I've submitted many requests. I was always answered, and there were responses, sometimes maybe not to the satisfaction of myself, but to the satisfaction of the bigger picture. And that we understand. We are adult politicians enough to understand that. And also just to say thank you to you as chair in the dignified manner in which you have conducted these meetings as a chairperson and listened and given us chances to speak. Out of the report, chairperson, I have just a couple of points to raise. I am particularly from the EFF side, we are very much concerned about the establishment and if you can call it springing up of new security companies all over the country. You know, I don't know, it's almost every second day there's a new security company in town, and every second day you see new people on the ground, you see new people all over, and you don't know where they're coming from. These people are, many of these companies are bound to do some guarding at private security villages and so on and so on. And they also try, as the National Commissioner has said earlier on, they also try to do policing in towns. You know, they put they don't have blue lights. They have some kind of a light. I don't know what you call that type of a light, but they flash the lights and they pull people over and they, you know, raise questions with people and so on and so on. They are also visible at roadblocks. Yeah, so I am very much concerned about this narrative or notion of springing up these private security companies. And I wondered the role and the responsibility of CIRA in this regard. Are they just approving every single application that's coming in? Are they obliged? Are they bound to approve them? Or what is the situation? How do we look at this? How do we look at the approval of security companies when they come in? Obviously, every person has a right to establish a business. But I mean, are we not saturated at this time? We've learned from another presentation that these guys got more weapons than what we have or what the police have in the country. And I think we must look future. We must look future. We cannot close our eyes for the right-wing forces trying to destabilize our country and what they try to do in order to take over the work of the police. We must look forward, future planning, and try to curb some of these applications. I don't know if you need special legislation, pieces of legislation to do this, but it cannot be that every second day or second week there's a new security company and they have firearms and they have all these type of logistics. You know, it makes it extremely dangerous for us as citizens when we are subjected to these type of security companies all over the scene. People don't even have, you know, a way of movement sometimes because they are stopped and checked by these guys and nobody is virtually doing nothing about it. They partner with the police. That is fine. We welcome their partnering, but they work themselves in a way that nobody can later work them out or question them. And that is the main point there. This is a serious point that I am raising, since we are aware of right-wing forces trying to counter the government and trying to take over the government, in a very special way, as they're coming in step by step, and overthrowing the government, possible overthrowing the government. We must be wakey and wary about that practice on the ground, Chairperson. Then the EFF is concerned about the prevalence of gangsterism in our communities. And I raised this point again this morning, Chairperson. I know that the minister has, in the last meeting or 2 meetings ago, he said, yeah, it costs 1-something million to train one special force member. That is fine. This is not what we've been asking for, Chairperson, to the minister if he's in the meeting, or to the National Commissioner. We say no. We must increase the size of visibility of police forces, trained police forces that are dedicated to fight gangsterism on the ground. We must increase the size of those policemen in those gang-infested areas. This is what we say, because obviously some of these policemen and women are trained to fight and combat gangsterism. And we have asked for them to be deployed in those areas where that gangsterism is rife. I've heard earlier on the National Commissioner spoke about the possible involvement of the army to assist. Could be right, it could not be right, because the army is trained for war. But if there's a war zone and these guys have turned our areas into war zones, I mean, then we must call on the army to come in. And if that can be a serious point of consideration, Chairperson, to the National Commissioner, then we must look at it. We must consider then to involve the National Army to assist the police in these gang-infested areas. You will know, I've moaned about 2 meetings ago, there were 22 shootings or deaths in Mitchells Plain alone in Cape Town. This is really disappointing. This is bad. This is very bad for any civil society with a democratic constitution, and where people may not move in their own areas and there's no assistance for them. So we again call on a dedicated team to fight gangsterism and to show a presence of the police in those type of areas. I also am concerned about the forensic laboratories. We hope that will be resolved, that each and every province at least has a forensic laboratory, or that a national laboratory that's in a working condition, in order to release these forensic tests earlier or sooner. Then the promotion of police officers. Obviously, the police has got a system. We are called sometimes by police officers that are tired of not being promoted. They get despondent, they're waiting long, they stand long in the queue. This is just a mental note to the National Commissioner for the Chair. Maybe there should be a system in place where we expedite, where we do not make instant police, promotions, but where we expedite the process where it is deserved to promote people, because people also consider their retirement. They don't want to retire as a constable or a sergeant alone. They are 30 years on warrant officer. Well, maybe there's reasons, but we must work around things to make it easier for our people and to motivate our people to remain in the police force, because we need their expertise. Lastly, or the second last point, Chairperson, we need to, and as I think Honorable Majosi has said, or Golding has said, that the 7th Parliament will consider increase the budget for the police. Sizable budget in terms of their needs, in terms of what they want on the ground, for logistics, for resources, for vehicles, for what have you. We must adequately resource the police so that they are able to do their work. It's a strong point that I make because in some instances you see there are police stations that cannot operate because they don't have generators, because they don't have adequate vehicles, manpower, and so on. We must increase the size of the budget for those type of police stations so that they can operate effectively. And lastly, I want to say, reiterate my last request again, where I say, and I say this again, you cannot lay the blame solely, squarely alone on the shoulders of the police for increasing crime, for the prevalence of crime, and so on. There must come a time where we overhaul the entire system, where government overhauls the entire system. I said it cannot be business as usual. Other departments must come to the party to take up their responsibility in terms of the Constitution. The last meeting, the Minister of Police has called on even the NPA and the Department of Justice to be in the same room when we discuss these matters. The responsibility, the municipalities must be there. Every department must be there because the lack of involvement, their department's involvement, and so on, may contribute towards the escalation of crime and the increasing crime in our areas. And once we have all these departments and ministers and directors general and all of them in one roof, we can exchange ideas, we can debate, and we can understand where the problems are. We are building on a system now for 30 years, and this system has been taking in on us. Yes, we do good. The police are doing good, but the police are doing good with only the little that they have. We must see to increase, to assist the police in terms of their vision, but also make it easier for them to fight crime. When social development department, for instance, take the children off the streets that they pay every month, but these children are not in school. When the education department, their truancy officers are not exercising safety and security on schools, we must understand what went wrong there. The government is just paying out money and money and money, and these guys are not contributing towards the fighting of crime or the prevention of crime. And so again, we reiterate, Chairperson, lastly, to say, let us get all these departments in one roof, the delegates of these departments to debate the way forward to overhaul the system. I know this is not what any government wants. A government doesn't want to be seen not to be doing something, but we are in a problem with crime. We are in a crisis with the level of crime in our country, and we must now think out of the box in order to combat crime. I thank you. I wish you well, and may the Lord be with you in all that you do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think those inputs will be captured properly, where there are additions and amendments, emphasis. Some of the issues members raised are captured, but maybe they just need to be captured in a way that they emphasize the point. I think members are happy with the report. Can I have a formal motion to adopt the report?
Chair Majosi.
Yes, Honorable Majosi.
I move that the report be adopted as a true reflection of what transpired in the 6th Parliament.
Thanks very much, Honorable Majosi. Can I get a second?
Chairperson, Peacock seconds the proposal done by Honorable Majosi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Peacock. I think the report is adopted. Honorable members and colleagues, like I said in my opening remarks, that today is our last official meeting. We've invited delegations from our departments and agencies that we oversee, so that we are able to say goodbye to one another. I'm going to request a representative from each agency just to say a few words. Then later I will request representative from political parties represented in the committee just to say a few words of goodbye. Don't give political speeches. Just say goodbye till we meet again. We part to meet, we meet to part. Can I get somebody from DPCI Judge Office? Is there somebody? Nobody? DNA Board? Nobody? Sira?
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, the honorable members. We would like to take this opportunity, Chairperson, to also express our sincere gratitude to the committee and its staff and the members. We thank you so much for the robustness in terms in which we engaged in the entire period. You have no idea, Chairperson, how much all these engagements have strengthened our work that we do for the country. Chairperson, we also like to say that we have noted all the recommendations that have been made. We believe that we can strengthen on others that have been made during the next discussions. And we thank you so much for all the work and the best of luck with your work going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chauke. We also wish you good luck. IPIT.
Thank you, Chairperson. Let me just say on behalf of IPIT, I would like to thank the committee for the sterling work that they've done. I must say, Chairperson, as IPIT, we have grown in leaps and bounds, and all the inputs and the robust discussions that took place in this platform were we're assisting us to enhance the work that we are doing as IPIT. Yes, Chairperson, every institution will have its own challenges, but despite the challenges, we managed to soldier on. And thanks for the support, where you guys have provided support and the direction and leadership that was given by the committee. Yes, I'm hoping that in the next administration you also form part just to sustain what we've already started, because you'll be knowing what is happening in our journey, and your contributions have assisted us a lot. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thanks very much, Edie. We also wish you the best in your work. Secretariat. Secretary. Nobody from Secretary.
I'm here.
Okay.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Secretary.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Chairperson, and honor and greetings to all the honorable members, our Minister and Deputy Minister. Chair, this is my second meeting with the Portfolio Committee, but the report that I have gotten is that the work of the Portfolio Committee has strengthened the Secretariat, and it will continue to grow, as we know that the Secretariat, it's a structure that, or a department that requires support in terms of its further development and so forth. But we also have noted, Chair, the work that has been done in terms of the legacy report, as well as the work that requires to be done. And as the Secretariat, we will definitely ensure that we develop a plan with clear achievable or a program with clear achievable timelines to take up the work that has already been done and the work that needs to be concluded for the next administration. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Secretary. It's unfortunate that as you enter, we are leaving. As you saw, but it has been nice working with you for this short period. We have your profile, and we're confident that you'll be able to deliver as required. Thanks very much. DPCI. Anybody from the Hawks? Nobody. Okay. Let's move on. SAPS, National Commissioner.
Honorable Chairperson, thank you very much. During the sixth administration of the government, the Portfolio Committee on Police has effectively exercised its oversight role in respect of South African Police Service and has contributed significantly to the oversight, effective management, and progressive development of the institution. The reporting that the department has done to the committee during its term of office, which includes the annual report as well as the annual performance plans and other specific projects, emphasize that the committee have immensely contributed to the department's effort to ensure the safety and security needs of the people of this country, and also that they are kept appraised at all times. The committee has been justifiably forthright and uncompromising in its engagement with the SAPS. Which have held the department accountable in terms of its planning, reporting, financial management, its overall management of resources, with specific emphasis being placed on the welfare of the members of the department. The committee's direct engagement on certain issues such as gender-based violence, femicide, Central Farm Registry, the Forensic Science Laboratory, through numerous physical visits which were made at those locations on issues ranging to illicit mining, status of the SAPS, national and local infrastructure, have provided an additional impetus and direction to the working of the organization. The SAPS, of course, we implemented Operation Chanela since May last year, and 536,980 arrests have been made so far. On behalf of the management as well as every member of the SAPS, I'd like to express my profound gratitude to the committee chairperson, Honorable Seabi, who assumed leadership after the untimely passing of the late Honorable Ms. Dilanthuma Peterson, may he rest in peace, supported by the honorable members who constitute this committee for bona fide contributions that have been made to the overall functioning of the SAPS. These contributions culminated in the committee's legacy report, which will receive close attention from SAPS management to ensure that all the recommendations done in this legacy report and those that are still outstanding do get the necessary attention. We are heading for elections. Honorable Chair would like to take the opportunity also to say and assure the committee and members and the people of South Africa that the law enforcement agency of this country is ready, and we will, as we did before, police the election and make sure that it takes place in a very peaceful and secure the elections to be credible, free and fair. And we shall always be out there and to ensure the safety of the people of this country. As such, we want to thank you and wish you well in the future election, of course. We should see you soon in the future. I would like to thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Thank you, and honorable members.
Thank you very much, National Commissioner. We wish you the best, especially as you are going to deal with the issue of elections. Already we've received some threats, but up to so far we're happy with how SAPS has responded to such threats, and we are comfortable. Wishing you the best as you continue with your work. Now I'm going to political parties. Honorable Sheikh Imam. He's gone. Honorable Meshwe. Not here. I know we got an apology from Honorable Groenewald. Can I get an input from IFP?
No, thanks, Chairperson. I think mine will be a short one, but just to thank the committee as a whole and our support staff for the job well done and for professionalizing the portfolio committee on police, to thank SAPS for a good working relationship. Hopefully we do meet again, and all other honorable members as we go to campaign. Let's pray that we have a good campaigns, and there should be no distractions and all that, and hopefully that everyone comes back and we are able to service the people of South Africa as we have promised to be servants in the 6th Parliament. But hopefully we are ready for the 7th Parliament, whoever is coming back, to work for the people and want to see the South Africa going forward. With those words, I would like to thank everyone, Chairperson, and for the contributions and everything that has been happening in the committee. And you as well, Chairperson, for allowing a free and fair contributions of each and every political party. And once you give people freedom, they will always give you leadership. So yeah, that is all, Chairperson. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much. And now we can we get an input from EFF?
Yes, Chair, thanks. I think I said a lot already. But just to add, the National Commissioner has emphasized in his speech that emphasized the role of the committee and by extension the role of oversight and monitoring. And I think this is important. The committee has done a lot of oversight work in this period, past couple of months that I'm here. We have thoroughly engaged on issues, and we've been allowed to do so in a democratic way. So thank you for the work. For the police, thank you for your work under difficult circumstances and with limited resources. But we trust and hope that the resources will increase to make it more easier for you to safeguard our communities, our country. National Commissioner, you and your men and women on the street in uniform in blue, may God be with you. I am a firm believer that all people are created by God. It's God's people. I'm a firm believer that when you are in a position of authority, you are a steward of that authority. God entrusts you with that authority. And I just draw your attention to the fact that it was Nehemiah in the Bible that was called to rebuild the ruined walls, as our country threatened to be ruined by all that we have discussed. We must rebuild the ruined walls. And after he has done it, he's done it in a much shorter space of time than what he was instructed to do. And then when he retired, he said in Nehemiah 5:19, remember me, Lord, favorably for what I have done for these people, and bless me accordingly. May the Lord bless you for your work, for your effort, for your commitment, and for everybody. If we look at God's people, God will look at us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your kind words. We also wish you the best. Can I get
thank you, Chair.
words from DA?
Chairperson, thank you. You know, it was quite informative for me, as I said, you know, when we went through this legacy report. And, you know, you also noticed that I am one of, you know, the 8 people that were here right from the outset. Chairperson, and, you know, for the last almost 50 years of my life, I was involved in some or other way with the police. And I'm glad that, you know, I had this opportunity. It's really a privilege. I've been working with a lot of people and, you know, first of all, let me start with the committee members. You know, really, I regard the committee members. We've worked with a lot of them. And unfortunately, some of them passed on already. And by the grace of God, we are still here. But, you know, they became more than colleagues. They became like, you know, family members. And, you know, I want to wish the committee members well, and you as the chairperson well, and thank you, you know, for all the work that we have been able to do together. And, you know, we were supported by an excellent team, and I also want to thank them for whatever they did. Coming back again to the departments, you know, the police, I want to thank the National Commissioner and, you know, all the members that came to this committee meetings and that contributed, you know, to the progress that we made, you know, in, you know, trying to enhance policing in this country. You know, also IPID, the Secretariat, CIRA, and everybody, really, it was a good journey. And I am not coming back, and that is by choice. It's not because I didn't make it. So that's by choice. And so I'll be, you know, venture into something else. I mean, you know, I'm looking forward to, you know, a little bit of relaxation and stuff. But thank you once again. I want to wish you well. And may the good Lord bless everybody and keep you. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thanks very much for your kind words. We also wish you the best as you finally retire. You have been refusing to retire all along. finally you are retiring. We wish you the best and enjoy your time with your family. Thanks very much. ANC?
Thank you so much, Chairperson. Let me take this opportunity to appreciate the time being given to say a word of appreciation and a word of goodbye to everyone. Chairperson, let me start to appreciate you as the chairperson. You were steering the boat. You guided us. You worked very well. You coordinated us, and the manner, the character that you showed, the humble character that you have, it made us see us as one, not to play any political games or maybe to try and be political in whatever thing that we're doing. We were just working for the interest of the South African that placed us into these positions that we have. And again, to the minister and the deputy minister in absentia, let me appreciate them, the role that they played, because generally, if they were not part and parcel of strategic things that were decisions that were supposed to be taken, if they did not agree to what's supposed to happen, it would have not happened. And let me appreciate their dedication and their commitment in trying to do the best that they did. As this committee, let me also appreciate each and every one of us in the committee that played their role that was so paramount to the interest of the South African. Let me appreciate also the officials of SAPS and all the entities within SAPS that were really also honoring their deployments or their work by ensuring that whatever that we needed as a committee, they made sure that it was implemented and really distinctively. And let me also thank the staff, the team, Nicolette, Babalwa Nobusutu, as well as and Tatelobu, for the work that they've done in making sure that administratively everything that we were doing was always correct and everything was on time. They were committed to the core. And lastly, let me appreciate each and every one of this collective that played a role in making sure that on the 6th administration, this committee did the best and stealing work that we were doing through all challenges that we had, but we managed as a committee to say that we did a good job, and really we appreciate the role that we did, all of us. And lastly, let me say, even though we were in the committee, we also learned a lot. And learning a lot from the committee has also empowered most of us that we feel really honored to have served in this committee. And with those few words, let me say thank you so much, Chairperson. I submit.
Thanks very much. We also wish you the best as you move on with your daily life. Honorable members and colleagues, it has been a pleasure working with all of you.
What about Sheikh Imam, Chairperson?
I called you, you were not there.
I'm moonlighting, Chairperson.
Yeah, this thing of moonlighting is a problem. Okay, thank you. Come in, Honorable Sheikh Imam.
Yeah, thank you very much. Only moonlighting with no additional income, Chairperson. So, I mean, that's... But allow me, first of all, to thank the committee, to start every member that participated in this particular committee. Some of them, of course, have left us. Our former chairperson, may her soul rest in peace. Chair, I think you conducted yourself in an exemplary manner. You know, you came at a very difficult time, but have done an exceptional piece of work. And thank you for accommodating me. Sometimes I had to attend to 3 or 4 different meetings with 3 different devices on at the same time. Yes, so to the staff, our officials, I think each and every one of them have conducted themselves a splendid performance from them. Indeed, our oversight visits, the additional attention that they gave us in terms of my halal food, a whole lot of things. I think they contributed immensely to the success of this committee. To those that are going into retirement and things, I wish you well. Rest in, ensure that you take good care of your health and enjoy what's left. Life is not just about work and work and work, but also that you need to have some pleasure, some fun, some family time. I think to a very large extent, Chairperson, people on the ground misinterpret the role of politicians and what we have to go through, the sacrifices that we have to make through from family, from friends, from functions, the pressure we go through and things like that. But I think we've done well. And so congratulations for that. Now, let me get to the South African Police Services, Chair. A very difficult job. We must be honest and we must admit that it's not easy. And they've made some great strides and great successes, but they have a lot of challenges. And I think for the 7th Parliament, if they can only understand that the police officers are supposed to be dealing with the prevention of crime, not dealing with it after crimes are committed. So we need a holistic approach and we need to work with them. Can you imagine a police officer living in a shack, Chairperson? I mean, and traveling to work with that gun protruding from his side, 13 Rand danger allowance. Look at what they go through. And I think, and for that reason, I think it leads to corruption. Not that I want to condone it, but it does lead to that. I think we need to pay our people well, make sure they're well taken care of. But very importantly, we often forget what they go through in terms of trauma. And that is why we need to repeatedly raise the concern of wellness programs, some kind of audit on their mental capacity from time to time. But remember, you're watching issues. I remember going to Port Elizabeth Police Station, and that entire station, Chair, was devastated when one of the officers died. So these are some of the things we go through. But SAPS, I think you're doing an exceptional piece of work. You have got some challenges, and we shall work together. Whoever is going to be there in the 7th Parliament, work together with you to try and create a better society. So each and every one of you, I wish you well. And I hope and pray that the Almighty God gives you a long, healthy, prosperous life. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. We also wish you the best. I got it through grapevine that you are establishing a new party. We wish you the best in that regard.
Thank you,
We
Chair.
will, sure. I see the hand of Honorable Golding. You have something itching, Honorable Golding?
Yes, Chairperson. Just give me a second. I know a lot has been said here, but I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank you for the leadership and the guidance you've offered. I think I've learned a lot in my short time here. So I wish you well, and through you, Chair, if you will express our gratitude for being patient with us to the Minister and the DM as well. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Having said that, let me also add my voice. I said it in my opening remarks. It was nice working with all of you. I think we worked as a team. We worked as a family. We might have stepped on each other's toes, but it was in the nature of work. It's because sometimes we are human beings. We don't think alike. We might have had our own differences. Also, it's because it was in the nature of work. We're human beings. We don't think alike. But the best thing we did was to think for the citizens of South Africa. All the things we were saying and doing, we were trying to work and provide service to the people of South Africa. We didn't descend into our political arenas. We didn't play petty politics. We didn't bring our individual political party manifestos into the committee, but we all wanted to deal with the issue of crime. And to the National Commissioner and head of DPCI, Executive Director, Secretary, Chairperson and CEO of SIRA, because in the main, these are the people we have been engaging with on a regular basis together with your staff. We want to say thank you. And just two things, National Commissioner, that this committee emphasized is, if it's possible, I think it can even be done before we go into elections. This crime, whether you call it crime prevention summit, I don't know. But just look at it thoroughly and see whether it's not possible to convene such a summit, whether you call it a summit or a conference, as suggested by Honorable Gerike, so that we can have people contributing towards the combating and eradication of crime, so that people must know that crime is everybody's business. Police officers cannot be everywhere. When a man beats his wife in the house, police officers are not there. When people are fighting in the street, police officers cannot be in every street in South Africa. When people are fighting in gated areas which are regarded as private, police officers will only come after the fact, so that people are aware and they can also contribute. If it's possible, please look at that, talk to the minister, and see whether we can have. I'm saying it's possible because I see other departments. I attended a conference by Justice Department. There was a conference by the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure. There was a conference by the Department of Education. Yesterday, the president was addressing another conference. I think it's possible. Just look at it, National Commission, and see whether we can have it even before we go to elections. We'll talk to the office of the the office of the chairperson, chair of chairs, and see whether we can have a meeting where we'll be sure that police are ready for our elections. The second one, if it's possible, have a session with the station commanders or station commissioners, because things are happening at that grassroots level. They are the ones who are feeling the pinch. Crime is happening very close to them. If it's possible, have a session with them and hear their views. Because I think they are ready to contribute. I've met a number of them as we were going through our oversight visits. We've talked to a number of station commanders or station commissioners. I think they have a contribution. I understand the protocol of police, but if you can create a platform just for them to say their views and see how they can contribute towards combating of crime. Having said that, colleagues, thanks very much. Like I said, we meet to part and we part to meet. We'll continue calling each other because now we have a relationship. We know each other. We'll meet each other as we go on with our daily lives. If we come back to again, it's fine. If we're still deployed by our different political parties into the same committee, fine, we'll still meet. But for now, I think it was nice working together and we did all we could. Once more, thanks, Nicolette, Babalwa, Nobesutu, Mr. Lobby. I know sometimes we were a nuisance to your ears because we wanted certain things to happen, but you never complained, you complied. Continue with that positive attitude. Thanks very much, colleagues, honorable members. I think now we can say the meeting is closed. Wishing you the best. Thanks very much. Enjoy your Easter weekend.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
thanks.
Bye. Bye. Thank you. Bye, Chair. Bye.